Hello friends and welcome back to the Brockopp side. Today we got ourselves a movie review of Skyscraper directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber. In this movie, Dwayne Johnson plays an ex-FBI agent turned security advisor who is sent to inspect the Pearl, an extremely high-tech skyscraper in Hong Kong with residential areas, zoos, shopping centers. It's basically like a little city inside of a skyscraper. But of course, the bad guys bust in, they want something, they take hostages, they take the building over, and Dwayne Johnson's gotta pull a Die Hard to save his family and kick a lot of ass at the same time. So before we get into the review itself, it's time to give you a little history on action movies. So about 30 years ago, a little movie called Die Hard came out, and it basically was about a man saving a building full of hostages that had been taken over by terrorists. And ever since then, Die Hard has basically just been the movie to copy. There are so many different movies that take very obvious inspiration from the story and the plot points of Die Hard. For many years, so many action movies were pitched as being, oh, it's Die Hard on a plane, it's Die Hard on a boat, it's Die Hard in the White House, it's Die Hard in outer space. Wait, I don't think that one actually has happened yet. But one of the things that sets this movie apart from others is that Dwayne Johnson has openly said this movie has been inspired by Die Hard, and there's even a poster that emulates one of the original Die Hard posters. So they do say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so how does Skyscraper hold up to the likes of Die Hard? Well, I mean, obviously not as well, but let's get into it. So, of course, Dwayne Johnson is a likable protagonist as usual, and he was also a very important element to a movie like this because he is the face of it. He's the only reason that people are going to even go to see this movie because it's Dwayne Johnson. He's the one on all the posters, he's the one that gets top billing, so he was a very necessary face to this movie because if they cast some lesser-known actor or an up-and-coming talent, then nobody would care, and this probably would just go right under the radar. Now, when comparing his character to, say, John McClane, Bruce Willis's character in Die Hard, well, Dwayne Johnson's character is just not as relatable and vulnerable feeling as John McClane. You know, Dwayne Johnson is a big dude, you know he can handle himself, and you know they have to exaggerate the other thugs too, because Dwayne Johnson could easily just beat the crap out of him and throw him out of the building. You know, I mean, John McClane, he gets his feet messed up and he gets seriously injured, and you know, he's not a bodybuilder or former wrestler, so, you know, he's just a dude, so it makes him more relatable. But, you know, they were going for the more of a, you know, big action star look to Dwayne Johnson. But, you know, he works in the role. I mean, he's just a charming, likable dude. That's why he's in, like, every other movie nowadays. So his character has his prosthetic leg that was blown off in a flashback at the beginning of the movie, which does add a nice little touch to his character, and as you'd probably predict, it only causes problems when it's convenient for the plot. You know, he's hanging from the side of a building via cable, and it's like, oh no, it's unlatching! Oh no! I'd be more scared if you didn't show that in the trailer! So really there was never any doubt or any slight scare that he would not make it through his situations, although there's this one scene with a crane where he's climbing up to the top of this gigantic construction crane, he runs across and he jumps into the building. That one actually gave me a little bit of anxiety when I was watching it, but that's just because I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm afraid of non-secure, unsafe heights like that, because, you know, there were a couple of times, you know, where he slipped and was like, oh no, I'm gonna fall. Then, you know, of course was like, oh no, he's gonna fall, just because I was able to put myself in his shoes for that particular scene, but it's like, I know you're gonna make it, but, you know, you're still giving me the willies there. So nothing really stands out as far as action's concerned, you know, it's just a lot of punching and kicking and shooting and fire all over the place. But there's this one action scene towards the end of the movie, which is in this giant dome area in the building, and you got all these projections and television screens going on, which is basically like a digital House of Mirrors kind of thing. That adds a couple of cool elements in there, but the problem with it is that you see that coming from a mile away from the beginning of the movie because, you know, you got the owner of the building showing Dwayne Johnson around the building, and it shows him this room. I'm just like, yep, that's where the final action scene's gonna take place. I'm calling it now, and would you look at that? I was right. A lot of information is given about the building at the very beginning of the movie with characters talking about it and newsreels playing, and it basically just sets up every plot point or important piece of information you need to know, like, okay, you can't access this floor or its functions without this special tablet, there's this off-site place that's a mile away. Oh, I wonder if Dwayne Johnson's character is going to be away from the building to check that place out and when the terrorists take over. Oopsie poopsie. And there's also just no surprises as far as characters are concerned, because there's gonna be at least one character that's gonna turn against the protagonist, and when they introduce the character that does that, he's a former friend and co-worker of Dwayne Johnson's character, and as soon as he appeared in the movie, it was like, yep, you, sir, are the one that's gonna betray him. And fortunately, I think the movie knew that because it doesn't take a whole lot of time to actually get to that point. It's like, oh hey friend, oh by the way, I'm betraying you. You didn't see that coming, did you? That all being said, the pacing is good, it doesn't let up for a second after the main conflict takes place. It follows a Die Hard formula very much without doing a whole lot new, but I sat back for this hour and 40-something minutes just being mildly entertained. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, I didn't love it, I didn't despise it, it was a good way to kill a couple hours at 7 o'clock at night on a Thursday. So all in all, Skyscraper was nothing new. It follows a formula of other much superior action movies, but it was just a good way to escape for a couple of hours. I really don't have the strong urge to see this movie again right now, but I do feel like I'll end up seeing it again at some point. Maybe when Black Friday rolls around, might pick it up for $9 or something. But for now, I'm good. If this movie makes enough money, I'm pretty sure there'll be a sequel, so they'll probably do what the Olympus Has Fallen movies have done and just make it a bigger location next time. But, see, what's bigger than a skyscraper? Like a tower? Or a castle? A space station? Hey, we still haven't seen Die Hard in space yet, but they can make that work. So, those are my thoughts on Skyscraper. If you guys have seen the movie or you've seen Die Hard, note it down below, and we'll see you on the Brockopp side.